Destiny conspiracy theories and myths. A lot of them have piled up over the years and it can get pretty crazy. The Traveler is evil, breaking the Dreaming City curse. Rasputin shooting the Traveler. Today we discuss these mysteries and more. So a couple of weeks ago we talked about Destiny myths that came true. Things fans could only dream of, like the inside of the Traveler. We actually went there in the final shape. Today's video is going to be the complete opposite, some crazy myths and conspiracy theories in Destiny that fans thought about but weren't actually true. Let's first start with the Traveler being evil. Remember the early days of Destiny 1? We were introduced to an alien sphere hanging in Earth's orbit that granted magic power. It didn't speak though, it just sat there and was dormant, suffering after the events of the collapse. As we learned about the game through trailers and eventually made our way through the story ourselves, theories began to emerge. Wait a minute, maybe the Traveler is actually the evil one, and maybe someday we'll see it turn on the Guardians and humanity. At the time, there were a couple of different reasons for this line of thinking. The Traveler was dormant and didn't speak to us. It left other civilizations in ruin, and it had a strange speaker in our tower that wouldn't really tell us anything.
I am the one who speaks for the Traveler. You must have no end of questions, Guardian.
There were even fan theories that suggested Destiny's original story was much different, and that the Traveler and Darkness weren't separate, but the Traveler instead created the darkness and caused all this destruction. 10 years later, we can see this is definitely not the case. Light and dark are neutral forces in the universe, but beings wield them for their own goals. Like the Guardians, like the Witness. Overall, the Traveler is a good entity. It wants the creation of life, it's a gardener. And once it creates life and seeds it, it lets that life make its own decisions and does not speak for it. So I guess it depends on who you ask, like the Witness. The Traveler is evil to it and its species, but the Traveler itself is clearly not evil. During the Forsaken expansion, we witnessed the curse unleashed upon the Dreaming City.
I should have known that Riven would grant one last wish. One last curse. Now the Dreaming City has been taken.
During the same expansion, we got a lore book that was called Truth to Power. It was quite strange and had some interesting lore to say the least. One entry though, called Act, Choose, React, had some strange text which led players on a quest for themselves for over a year. You bring Medusa before Rahul. Ah, he sniffs. Another battle trophy. Pre-collapse. Post-foreboding. A covert intelligence designed to watch over a high-risk colony mission. Allow me to decrypt her for you. He issues you several tokens, a rare quality fusion rifle, a shader, and a letter. The letter reads, achieve light level 999 and defeat Dul and Karu in a one-person fire team to unlock the true ending of the Dreaming City. At the time this lore book came out, the power cap was 600. Yeah, throwback, right? So 999 power wasn't yet possible. Fast forward a year later though, with Shadowkeep, the cap was raised to 960 and Guardians could progress further, getting their light levels even higher. This was the first time you were able to reach 999 power. So for a full year, theories flowed through Reddit and tons of articles were made. Will the Dreaming City curse actually end if you beat this in a solo dungeon? Guardian Bagel 4K was the first to solo Shattered Throne at 999 power, but nothing happened. The curse wasn't broken, no reward. It seems the Witch Queen had played her tricks on the community once again. Savathun even breaking the fourth wall and having messages to share with the community and Bagel. I am Savathun, ravenous. I have set the snare and baited the trap. I am the finality, the reward. I am the true ending. Is victory so easy, hero? Truth to Power was just a device of Savathun to generate more trickery and cunning. leading players in a random chase for over a year. Ghost Fragment Rasputin 5 from Destiny 1 said this: "If available ISR and Warwatch indicates imminent Traveler departure, then Traveler departure compromises human, neo-human survival and Epoch strategy. Stand by for Abhorrent Imperative. Activate Loki Crown. Perform Deniable Authorization. Full Catametric and Noetic Release. Prevent Traveler departure by any means available. Stand by for Effect Assessment Criteria. Coerce Pseudo-Altruistic Traveler Defense Action. Defer Civilization Kill. Stop. This card from Destiny 1 suggested that Rasputin had some protocols to prevent the Traveler from leaving Earth if it decided to flee, or to destroy it completely. Fan theories believe that Rasputin did fire and kept the Traveler here on Earth, the only reason it was dormant and stayed on the planet at all. Maybe Rasputin was the one who wounded the Traveler. But it turns out this is not the case at all, and like the lore card sort of hints at, it didn't really happen. Season of the Seraph cleared this up even further, with Rasputin himself telling us what happened.
When the collapse began, I feared the Traveler would abandon Earth. So, I reactivated the protocol to use the Warsats against it. I intended to immobilize the Traveler, to force it to stay. But in the end, I aborted the firing sequence. Anna does not remember this, but it was she who convinced me to stop.
The next one bothers some lore fans and they choose to believe what they wish instead because it's more fun. Early lore in D2 hinted that Shaxx and Mara Sov may have had some feelings for each other. Shaxx spoke to Eva Levante during the Dawning about gifting Mara Sov a bow. Then of course the infamous entry where the two spoke together and the helmet stayed on. Many were led to believe that Mara and Shaxx were two lovebirds drifting between the city and the reef, sharing in each other's company from time to time. I mean, some of this lore even came out during Crimson Days, Destiny's Valentine's Day event. Witch Queen Collector's Edition lore addressed this topic even further, and completely switched things around. Turns out the two were just bonding over Seer Ido, the former Queen's Wrath, Mara's lover and Shaxx's great friend. They spoke about awoken stories, myths, and legends together. And Mara wanted to see Shaxx's eyes, the same eyes that laid upon Seer Ido, but the helmet stayed on. So Bungie switched things around, but personally I think Shaxx had feelings for Mara at least at some point. I remember this next one clearly, and I probably even made some crazy theory videos on it in the early days too. During the Dark Below, Eris Morn popped up in the tower, except she didn't look like a normal Guardian. She had hive eyes. And it also didn't help that every time we had to deal with the hive, Eris Morn was right there in front of your face and seemed to have secret knowledge on the subject. The thought was, maybe Eris Morn is actually Savathun. There were hints early on that we could meet the Witch Queen one day. Was she in front of our face this whole time? While the answer turned out to be no, Savathun did impersonate someone else for a while in Osiris, which I guess is close enough. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. Some myths in Destiny that turned out to be false. I'm sure there's a lot more. Maybe we can make a part 2 of this video if it does well, and be sure to leave your own myths and theories in the comments down below. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.